I am Dylan Bruce, and I play military man Paul Dearden in Orphan Black.
I guess, first question, how does it feel to be here at the MCM London Comic Con? You enjoying it so far?
It feels fantastic to be at the MCM Comic Con. I wasn't expecting it to be so big. A lot of interesting cosplay going on, and a lot of Orphan Black fans. So it's neat to come over to London and be here and support our show, our little show that could, and that's airing on BBC Three right now. Yeah, it's a great experience.
How exciting is it to be part of that Orphan Black world? Because it's really been loved by the fans and the critics as well, hasn't it?
It has, and like I said before, we didn't think this many people would be into our show. We felt like we were shooting something special when we were first doing it, but we've developed quite the cult following, and having that kind of cult following and that dedication from our fans is just continuing. The word of mouth is making our fandom grow, and it's really interesting to see how dedicated our fans are, and to be a part of a show that we all feel is very special, and that's translating to the fans is very special as well.
And what was it that excited you about the show? Why did you think it was going to be something special?
When I read the first script, I knew instantly that it was going to be something special. Our writers are brilliant. They're so smart, and they're so in tune with the real world and what's really going on, and they're not afraid to take risks. So as an actor, you don't really have to do too much work because it's there on the page. But it's also, our show wouldn't be anything as good as it is without the brilliance of Tatiana Maslany jumping in and out of all these different characters. So, I'm ecstatic to be a part of this show, and it's just getting better and better. I think we set the bar extremely high for ourselves in season 1, and I think season 2 we've exceeded that. So, it's a real blessing to be a part of it as an actor.
I mean, what do you think it is about season 2 that's kind of taken it to the next level?
I think Tatiana has really taken it to the next level. She's just getting better and better, which is, I can't believe that girl has the kind of stamina that she does, because she's playing against herself in a lot of scenes, and to do what she's doing is nothing short of miraculous. I think the story's getting more interesting. It's getting bigger. And like I said, with the fans, that it just seems like our show just keeps gaining momentum and keeps gaining steam. So bigger and better was our we're not afraid to take chances, I guess, is what I like to, explain how our show is and how our showrunners are. And also, BBC America is very supportive as a network, and they give a lot of creative freedom, so I think that makes the show a lot more interesting as well.
I guess, just talking about your character,
Shady McShadester, yes.
Yeah. For you, what's been the best thing about playing this character over 2 seasons now?
Because you can never put your thumb on him as to what he is really like, where his loyalties lie. He's a very cold, calculating, methodical kind of guy, but at the same time, he has a softer side, and I think that's what makes our show great. You never know where a character's true intentions lies, where his true feelings are, where his true loyalties are. And I think that's one of the brilliances of Orphan Black, because you never know which way any one of our characters are going to go. They're always swaying on both sides of the fence. So that's, I think, which is captivating about our show and really draws people in.
How would you like to see that character developing?
I put full faith and trust in the writers as far as character development. They're brilliant as well, because they give, they're not just writing the character as they see how he should be written. They actually, look to you for some creative input as well. So I really like the Orpid that I'm in season 2 with the new clone Rachel, as well as Dr. Leakey. I think it's a very fun and different, interesting orbit to be in. And I just, there's a lot more surprises coming up. So I was really pleased with how this season ended, without giving away too much.
Where would you like to see the relationship with Sarah go?
It's a very tumultuous relationship currently. He still feels somewhat responsible for what happened to Beth, the character Beth. So with that, he sees redemption through Sarah. And also he has feelings for Sarah. But at the same time, she has a lot on her plate, and I don't know if the feelings are reciprocal. So, he's looking out for number one, and he's a guy that's always going to look out for number one. But I really love the dynamic between Paul and Sarah, and I hope, hope it'll be explored more. But at the current time, she did pistol whip him in the face in episode 1 of season 2. So she's also back with her baby's daddy. So he's in a very precarious position involving Sarah, but you know, he does feel some sort of loyalty and hurt over, you know, over what happened, and he's definitely somewhat loyal to her, but we'll see. You never know where his loyalties lie, like I said. So.
Do you have a favourite episode that you've worked on so far?
I do. I would have to say my favorite from season 1 was Variations Under Domestication, which is episode 6, which is the potluck at Alice's house. I thought that was the perfect blend of comedy, drama, dark comedy, thriller, you know, all of the above. I think that episode had it all, and I think it was very fun to put a nail gun to someone's head, and very psychotic part of Paul, you know, the interrogating part of my character. I thought that was fun, that he was finally able to kick some butt. As far as season 2 is concerned, my favorite episode would have to be the final episode of season 2. And so far.
I mean, you mentioned before, it's a character. He's cold, he's calculating, he's very self-interested. Are those qualities you can relate to yourself? Because you seem a little bit more happy and smiley.
I know, everybody, when they first meet me, they're like, you are so different than your character on television, which I think is, thank you very much, because I'm not too stoic of an individual. I seem to emote more emotion than this guy was. But at the same time, that's why this character is the way he is because, you know, his backstory is he's killed 6 Marines in a friendly fire incident. So I took it as he's suffering from some sort of post PTSD, and he's got a lot of inner turmoil. So, and I think he doesn't emote a lot as well. A lot of the stage directions in the script are Paul, best poker face. Paul putting on his best poker face. So that's why he's very, very stone faced a lot of the times. But I think that's going to change at the end of the season. I think you're going to see a little more emotion out of this character. But yeah, I couldn't be further from this character, and that's why they call it acting.
I mean, you mentioned there that they ask you for input on the characters. Is there anything that you feel like you've particularly contributed, or kind of directions that you've kind of pushed them to take the character?
Well, I always say I want to kick more butt. I say I want more fighting scenes. I want more, more guns blazing, all that kind of stuff. So that hasn't happened yet. So I don't know if they're necessarily taking my words of advice to heed, but yeah, they so would your character say this? Would he say? How would he say it? Would he say it this way? Would he say it that way? So it's more like in terms of the lines and if we're saying the right things. So, but I definitely put my 2 cents in. Like I want facial hair. I think I want to speak with a lower voice. I think it shows more gravitas and more sinister when a character has a lower voice. So, yeah, little things like that, little instances like that, they agree with. So.
I mean, we talked about favorite episodes, but for you, favorite characters apart from your own, who do you just love on the show?
Oh well, I love Felix. I think Felix is fantastic, and Jordan Gavaris, I think he plays him brilliantly. I personally have never heard an American. Well, he's Canadian, but he has spent some time in the States. Do a better British accent than he does. I really am in love with the clone Helena. I think she's one of those characters that you just feel for, and. She's also a psychopathic killer, which makes her very interesting. But for some reason, you're just drawn to her and you feel sorry for her. And I love Allison because I grew up in the suburbs, and being in the suburbs, I think I've come across quite a few soccer moms in my day that probably have acted like Allison. Those would probably be my top 3.
We've had so many great clones on the show so far. What kind of clones would you like to see going forward? If you could have any type of clone? Any type of clone?
I would like to have a Paul Terminator clone. I think that would be fantastic. I would say from Terminator 2. I can't remember the actor's name, but he was the liquid guy.
Robert Patrick.
Yes, Robert Patrick. That's right. I would love that because Paul goes to Taiwan with Rachel, and maybe there's some new technology over there where we can make a Paul liquid clone of whatever kind of liquid he was made of. I don't remember. But I think a Felix clone would be fantastic. Also, maybe an Art clone. I love the character of Art. I don't think Kevin Hancher gets enough credit because I think he's the moral compass of the show, and I think his character going in a different direction, or seeing a clone of him go in a completely different direction, I think he would play it beautifully because I think he's a fantastic actor.
What would an art or Phoenix clone be like, do you think?
I don't know. I think Jordan can play Butch pretty well, so I think that'd be very interesting to see him on the different end of the spectrum. And an art clone, I don't know. Kevin's got a lot of swag. He can pull anything off, so I think they'd both be brilliant.
I mean, just in terms of the genre, what do you think sci-fi and fantasy, I mean, we're obviously here surrounded by great people from a lot of great shows today, but what do you think it gives audiences and performers that they don't get from working in just kind of contemporary drama and kind of that stuff?
Well, I think our show is sci-fi based in reality because cloning is a real thing, right? And it's not like we have aliens and all sorts of crazy spaceships and stuff like that in our show, which I think is fantastic. But our show is more like a realistic sci-fi show. But as far as the broad spectrum of sci-fi shows, I think it's a world of fantasy that I think is a lot of people like to escape into. So I think sci-fi is a great realm for television viewers, and I'm a big fan of sci-fi as well. A big fan of Battlestar Galactica. I loved Lost. If Lost is considered a sci-fi type of show. Alias was kind of sci-fi to sci-fi-ish. Yeah, I know. It's a wonderful thing because you don't see dramas having big conventions and comedies having big conventions like this. So the fandom out there definitely loves their sci-fi. So it's interesting. It's very interesting.
And what else is coming up for you at the moment? Where else are we going to see you?
You're going to see me. I'm in a Lifetime movie called Petals on the Wind, which is based on the V.C. Andrews books that were almost like the Hunger Games of their times in the early 80s, starring Heather Graham and the magnificent Ellen Burstyn. I have a pretty prominent role in that. I just shot a pilot for Robert Rodriguez, the director, called Matador, which is about the Latino James Bond, and I had a lot of fun doing that, being in a Robert Rodriguez action sequence, because that was something I really wanted to do. So I can check that off the bucket list.
What was it like working with Robert?
He's fantastic. He's brilliant. He's probably the most down-to-earth, laid-back guy. He's got his guitar on set, always strumming mariachi tunes, and no one does action and gore better than Robert Rodriguez. So it's definitely was a blessing, and I was pinching myself when I was on set every day.
And if that gets picked up for a series, would we be seeing more of you in that?
The possibility, yes, but my obligations lie with Orphan Black. So.
Do you have a message for fans before you leave us?
I do. Thank you so much for making Orphan Black what it is. Clone Club, you're the best, you rock, and we love you.
Thanks for watching. Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the link on the screen now?